When you think of a symbol for defiance and freedom, fans of Attack on Titan will instantly think about the Attack Titan. Its raw power, adaptability in combat, and symbolic representation set more than a tall standard, pun intended, in the Attack on Titan anime and manga. So, in this video, we're going to climb a whole lot of Titans, but we're going to mainly focus on Eren Yeager's iconic, scary, and controversial Attack Titan. Who knew the fight for freedom would be so terrifying and so costly? Before we get into this explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What is the Attack Titan and what makes it unique? Anyone who's seen the Attack on Titan anime, and those who have devoured the manga, will agree that the Attack Titan is one of the most stunning and complicated characters in the show. It's not just another of the 9 Titans, this one's got some cool tricks up its sleeve. Its unique connection to the other inheritors of the Attack Titan is itself a wow factor, but add its ability to contact them in what looks like impossible time travel of the genetic kind, and you have yourself a super unique Titan for the ages. I mean, it can inherit memories from its future inheritors, for crying out loud. Yes, this Titan too is a formidable weapon of war, but its real talents are leagues superior to any of the others. Imagine being able to transcend time through visions of the future. Some of us will throw our grandkids into a witch's oven to get this mad skill, but what about conventional cause and effect? Toss that idea. Accessing memories like this feels very Assassin's Creed Animus. Eren Yeager flips the script with this talent. He sees fragments of memories belonging to his predecessors and uses them to make decisions in his own timeline. This in turn means that his predecessors see fragments of memories belonging to him. It's beautifully bizarre. Most of us would have thought gazing into the past was cool, but the Attack Titan can literally also see the future. They're basically all visions, but still, wow, what an inheritance. Aside from its sheer destructive potential, the Attack Titan also has an unyielding spirit, one that starts a rebellion and pursues freedom in ways that redefine the words plot twist. Its legacy is actually much deeper than some people realize. It's not tied down by any kind of service or political hierarchy. This Titan is all about autonomy. Its inheritors, in fact, completely understand that. They chase freedom and similar ideals and refuse to take no for an answer. But sometimes that burning desire of theirs ends up hurting them. Enter Eren Yeager, our complicated protagonist. If ever there was a guy with a rebellious trait, it's him. His thirst for liberty and convictions concerning how exactly one should go about getting it have made Eren Yeager an anime legend in a lot of dark ways. Can the future influence the present? Also, what implications does this have for free will? Is individuality overrated? Hope you brought your snorkeling gear because we're entering the deep waters now. The Attack Titan's futurific powers strongly represent its inner nature. Just like it fights fate and refuses to be held back by its own destiny, the way it uses the future as well as the past to change the present makes a solid case for doing things your way. With the Attack Titan, Eren ends up altering the course of history, in the series at any rate. He gains serious insight into events that he shouldn't possibly be able to see. He's the ultimate influencer, if you ask us, but this power is not always a blessing. We see him being burdened with knowledge that later fuels his controversial choices, making him seem like a villain when he's anything but. Now we come to another key facet of the Attack Titan. Yes, it's a tool for destruction, even transformation, but it's also a philosophical symbol. Conflict is cyclical in this series. Few things in Attack on Titan capture this truth like the Attack Titan itself. Think about it. This Titan goes deeper into its personal conflict the harder it tries to fight its fate. There's even a time when it loses itself to heartless cruelty while aiming to protect and free the people Eren cares for. Conflict. More like contrast, but you get the idea. Suffice to say, the Attack Titan brings plenty of ethical dilemmas and personal struggles to the narrative. Nothing highlights the duality of knowledge like it does. Foreseeing the future and studying the past can be liberating, but they can also be paralyzing. Goes to show that just because you can see across timelines doesn't mean you can heroically change the world. There's bound to be sacrifice, and it's bound to get ugly. Who were the previous inheritors of the Attack Titan? Inheriting power as well as ideals is something the Titans in this series do exceptionally well. The Attack Titan gives Eren Yeager more than he bargained for, but he wasn't the first to wield this force. Before him were 2 just as complex characters, Eren Krueger and Grisha Yeager. Let's explore all 3 Attack Titan inheritors, because they each bring something game-changing to the story. First off, Eren Krueger, aka the Owl. This is Eren Yeager's granddad, and he's known for planting the very seeds of rebellion in this series. clearly not a small player. Even grander, he was an Eldian spy within the Marleyan ranks. Wish some of our granddads were this cool. Anyways, remember the resistance against Marley and the survival of Eldia's heritage? That was all Eren Krueger. He made a lasting contribution to both of those story moments, to be more precise. When it came to wielding his attack titan, Krueger went with stealth and strategy as opposed to the raw, untamed fury these entities are generally known to unleash. Using measured and calculated approaches, Krueger successfully gathered intelligence for years and ideally supported the Eldian restorationists, and he didn't once break his cover while within Marley's military ranks. But Grandpa constantly felt a deep sense of guilt. His resolve was on point, but remember, he's pretending to help the very people who have been constantly committing all sorts of atrocities against his people. No wonder the philosophy of freedom which the Attack Titan represents made a world of sense to Krueger. When the time came to pass on the power, he chose Eren Yeager and gave him two vital missions. 1. Protect the future of Eldia at all costs, and 2. Recover the Founding Titan. Grisha's whole rebellion forever attitude was thanks to what his dad Krueger installed in him growing up. They even broached the topic of time travel, as we know it in the case of the Attack Titan. Now let's talk about Eren Yeager. This is Eren Yeager's dad, a father torn between two worlds. His reality often conflicted with his ideals. He was sick of the oppressive regime in Marley and wanted badly to redeem the Eldians, his people. The amount of moral dilemmas surrounding this guy. He was definitely a victim, but also a catalyst for historical change in the Attack on Titan plotline. There were more than a few moments when what Grisha did made us doubt whether he could ever justify his actions in the name of freedom. That's why Sunny even joined the Eldian restorationists. He wanted justice and freedom, and he wanted them now. But he was betrayed and was about to face a life of mindless aggression as a Titan. However, his own dad, Krueger, saved him and made his journey one of positive transformation instead. Emotionally, physically, and ideologically, Eren Yeager found a fresh start on all 3 counts after he went to Paradise Island. He knew he still had a mission to complete, and yes, he chose to accept it, but the Attack Titan within proved to be more a bane than a boon. Then along came the Royal Reese family, the inheritors of the Founding Titan, the same Titan that Grisha was tasked with claiming. Some time travel voodoo came into play when he gained key memories from his future son, Eren Yeager, and successfully unleashed the Attack Titan's rage against the Founding Titan. Daddy-O won, and he inherited the Founding Titan, which he later successfully passed down to Eren Yeager, almost karmic in a way. Speaking of karma, Eren Yeager was often haunted by the thought that he was a mere pawn in a much larger game. He's certainly one of the most tragic figures we've come across in the series. Now for the man of the hour, Eren Yeager. This is the rebel who broke the world. No wonder they made him the protagonist. Anyways, Yeager is the final known inheritor of the Attack Titan. Guy took his beliefs and ideals to an extremist level in the series. From wanting desperately to escape the walls to becoming burdened with the Attack Titan's memories and goals, Eren Yeager did not have it easy despite being a Titan nepo baby. He captured the essence of the Attack Titan in its purest form, but also in its most controversial stage. He too could see cross-generational memories through which he gained unparalleled, even supernatural insight. However, unlike his pops and gramps, Yeager didn't just access the future, he shaped it with help from the past. When we say he altered the course of humanity itself, we mean every word of it. Remember the catastrophe which later came to be called the Rumbling? That had Yeager's name written all over it. Desperate to bottle freedom, Eren Yeager made terrifying decisions that cost lives and threatened worse. For him, freedom was worth any price. That's some dangerous thinking if you ask us. So, between the Attack Titan's unyielding drive for freedom and the devastating cost of achieving it, we see Eren Yeager transforming, pun intended, from goodie to baddie. He was an inspiration, but also a terror. In his inheritor hands, the Attack Titan was not just about rebellion, but also retribution. And oh, how many people suffered for that. Each of the Attack Titan's inheritors, Father, Son, and Holy Fish Sticks Yeager, wielded the Attack Titan in their own way. They shared a troubled legacy based on struggle, sacrifice, and the never-ending pursuit of freedom. All 3 made sure that the Attack Titan was more than just a weapon, it became a symbol of resistance as well. But that price tag, ooh-wee. How did Eren Yeager inherit the Attack Titan? We've been talking about how Eren Yeager inherited this and did that, but we feel it's only right to poke the devil in the details here. That said, let's see exactly how our guy inherited the Attack Titan and gave us some of the most intense and emotionally charged moments in the series. They say the best things happen over food. Don't know who said that, but you get the idea. In Eren Yeager's case, something similar played out because his dad made him eat his inheritance. The sheer grimness of this necessity is not lost on us, but apparently that's the way the cookie crumbles in Attack on Titan. It's a dark and desperate world, people. In the show, we mean. Just in the show, right? On the menu that evening was a triple threat fusion combo: tragedy, destiny, and rebellion. Chef Grisha cooked up a storm for his kid in much the same way his own father, Eren Krueger, had. The aim remained the same: continue the Titan's legacy and fulfill its mission. Grisha wasn't foisting something onto his son that he himself didn't chase. Remember, by the time he landed within the walls of Paradis, Grisha had tapped into memories of the future. That's right, Eren Yeager's memories, to help him assimilate the founding Titan, considered to be the most powerful of the 9. He did it for the mission, and he gave it to his son, but before that, Grisha had to make sure the Attack Titan made it to Yeager first. Now, the Titan inheritance process is, to put it bluntly, sick and messed up. Every Titan shifter in this universe receives their powers in one exclusive way. They have to consume the previous Titan shifter, specifically their spine. There's other ways to become a Titan, but that's the only way to become a Titan shifter. So Grisha's circumstances weren't great. Things were happening so quickly that he had little choice but to make his kid consume the Attack Titan and thereby take it from him. Eren Yeager was a child at the time, which only made the event give us an anxiety attack. After the fall of Wall Maria, chaos reigned. During the madness, Grisha seemed to be taking his son on a hike through the forest. Jokes aside, his agenda was serious. He wanted complete privacy so he could pass the Titan on to his kid. He gave his son a terrible responsibility, one that he himself struggled with, premium guilt package included. But the process wasn't as easy as chanting abracadabra, not to be confused with the latest banger from Mother Monster. Grisha injected Yeager with the Titan's serum and forced him to transform into a pure Titan, a mindless beast driven by instinct and nothing else. This was perfect for Grisha's needs because his son wouldn't be able to stop himself from consuming his own flesh and blood father. After he ate of the body and drank of the blood, Eren Yeager became the not-so-proud owner of both the Attack Titan and the founding Titan. This marked a super symbolic moment in the show. Yeager not only lost his innocence that day, he was soon thrown into a world of conflict and sacrifice that he would never have chosen on his own. But with great power comes great guilt-sponsibility. On that fateful day, Grisha entrusted the future of Eldia and that of the human race into the hands of his only son. We think this is the part where Jesus would have experienced some déjà vu. Anyways, Grisha also placed a huge amount of trust in Yeager. He couldn't guarantee his son would be super at carrying on the family legacy. The Attack Titan's unique power to inherit memories from its future successors added tiramisu-style layers of complexity to this game-changing moment in the series. It wasn't simply a matter of passing on power. The past, present, and future collided here. It ended up blurring the lines between freedom and inevitability. Sounds kinda like Thanos in the third act of Endgame, huh? There's a reason all these crazy villains love talking about free will and destiny. So, when Eren Yeager inherited the Attack Titan, it marked the birth of a new chapter in the Titan's legacy. He started carrying the weight of not one, but 2 Titans. Whatever Grisha's decisions, they were his son's problem now. To be fair, this moment was a defining phase in Yeager's character arc. It not only shaped his motivations and struggles, but also redefined his understanding of freedom, something all the fans have seen play out in the manga as well as the anime. If the threads of fate are known for anything, it's weaving tragic tapestries. For little old Yeager, his inheritance sparked the beginning of a journey that would challenge the very fabric of destiny itself. What was the Attack Titan's role in the Battle of Trost? Talk about a turning point. The Battle of Trost was just that in the series. It was the first time Eren Yeager transformed into the Attack Titan, giving everyone a run for their money. From a desperate defense to a daring face-off, this arc delivered big time. It also laid the groundwork for the complicated relationship that Yeager would go on to have with his newfound powers. In the Battle of Trost, we saw the colossal Titan breaching Wall Rose and spreading devastation in its wake. The people of Trost District were in the direct line of fire, so to speak, and the military could do squat to save all of them. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin were cadets in training at the time. They had no choice but to go up against the Titans using whatever they'd learned up to that point. It was a matter of life and death after all. An already bad situation turned even worse when Yeager was eaten by one of the invading Titans. He saved Armin, but couldn't save himself. Now, even though Titan powers got transferred through consumption, that was shockingly not the case with Eren Yeager. Just when all seemed lost, the guy literally transformed into the Attack Titan and burst out of the Titan that had devoured him. Let's just say, Eren Yeager would have made a certain glossy black alien salivate for different reasons. Anyways, Yeager's determination does double time, and the Attack Titan goes Predator versus Alien on the invaders. Raw emotion triggered Eren's transformation, and raw emotion now fueled his rage. From the visceral way in which Yeager erupted out of that Titan's body to the primal force with which he fought the others, the Battle of Trost proved to be bigger than it seemed. Pun shamelessly intended. Even the soldiers of Trost looked like most of them had browned their breeches. Even though Yeager's Attack Titan made its allegiance clear, Eren himself was in some kind of a daze. He was running on instinct and fighting back without any real strategy or reasoning. The series showed how he just flung himself at the other Titans and delivered raw assaults that were far from refined. But hey, it was his first time, so a gory battle unfolds as blood, bone, and brains spill, crack, and pour all over the place like something out of an Evil Dead movie. Suffice to say, Eren's buddies are awestruck but also terrified. Remember, Yeager's Attack Titan is the first ever of its kind to actually fight other Titans. Nobody could make heads nor tails of it. By protecting humanity instead of threatening it, our boy Yeager played a game-changing move that day, making the Battle of Trost a strangely hopeful event. He also shows some level of control over his Titan form, learning on the go. Trost's scattered military now has a miraculous chance to regroup, all thanks to the Attack Titan's strength and resilience against the invaders. But the heroics aren't over yet. Eren Yeager soon does another thing that puts paid to his legend. He uses a giant boulder to seal the breach in Wall Rose. Clearly, our guy has understood and accepted his role as the Attack Titan. We later learned that he was consciously aware of what he was supposed to do. In that moment, Yeager became not only a tool of destruction, but also a beacon of hope. That scene still gives us goosebumps. As the Attack Titan barricaded the hole in the wall, human soldiers rallied around him and actually defended him from other Titans while he sealed the deal. Literally. Even though its arrival created questions and fears, everybody understood the life-saving role that Eren and his Attack Titan could play in their survival. Metamorphical or metaphorical, Eren Yeager's Attack Titan transformation was a bit of both. Kid was no longer a powerless cadet, he was now a symbol of resilience and rebellion for the entire friggin' human race. How did the Attack Titan perform in key battles? We need to talk about how the Attack Titan fares against the Female Titan, the Armored Titan, and the Colossal Titan now, because these weren't just some of the most intense moments in the series, they also defined the show's entire narrative. Eren Yeager went through some serious growth, and we don't just mean his kaiju-level transformations. Okay, ladies first. Annie Leonhardt inherited the power of the Female Titan. Who's this chick? Probably someone you shouldn't call a chick because she is one heck of an adversary. Cunning meets combat, and they both get an upgrade where she's concerned. Anyone who's seen the 57th Exterior Scouting Mission will also have seen how the Female Titan chased Yeager, but not for the naughty reasons you're probably thinking. Her aim was to capture him because she wanted what he had. As for Eren Yeager, the kid was still inexperienced and had no idea how to control the Attack Titan within. Annie, on the other hand, was skilled and brought a cartload of tactical precision to the battlefield. Their clash in the forest outside Wall Rose clearly showed the Godzilla-sized difference in expertise between her and Yeager. Eren's blind aggression wasn't helping, but his unwavering willpower did. Even though Annie deceived the others and got away, she left Eren with the realization that he had to upskill and fast. They later had a rematch inside Stohess District. There again, Eren ran on rage and emotion, but was remarkably better at wielding the Attack Titan than before. Facing off in a densely populated urban environment, something this series loves to do, the Attack Titan matched the power and potential of the Female Titan, but once again, Annie had a trick up her sleeve. She escaped capture, this time by encasing herself in a protective crystal. She lost, yes, but Eren didn't exactly win either. Next up, the Armored Titan. Reiner Braun inherited this beast whose defensive skills and almost impenetrable armor proved more than a challenge for our boy Yeager. Eren initially suffered to find a way past this Titan's hard exterior. He fought like a tiger, but his hits landed like a kitten. But if our boy Yeager's anything, he's adaptable. He soon changed tactics and used grappling techniques that he'd learned during his hand-to-hand combat training to successfully bring the armored nuisance down. Much like arthritis, this kid targeted the Titan's joints and got him good. He not only turned the tide of battle, but he also discovered a major flaw in one of the 9 Titans. But before he could savor this victory, party crasher Colossal Titan entered the ring like a tag team wrestler with a grudge. Berthold Hoover inherited the Colossal Titan, a heat-emitting Titan who redefines Paris Hilton's classic catchphrase. Anyways, where Yeager used brute force, Hoover went with tactical cunning. He was already huge and radiated deadly heat, so it's safe to say that Eren wasn't feeling too chill. Then came the battle at Shiganshina District. By then, Yeager was already strategically competent with his attack titan. Instead of directly engaging the colossal titan, he was smart enough to bring his friends to the table. Together, they came up with a strategy that would eventually bake Bertholdt some humble pie. Surprise, surprise, Eren actually used his attack titan as bait to defeat the colossal titan. Bertholdt fell for it when Eren pretended he was a goner, only to lure him into a trap. "The better to kill you with, my dear," said the wolf dressed up as grandma. Sorry about that crossover image, that's probably going to haunt us too. Armin and the rest of the team then executed their well-coordinated plan and brought down the colossal titan. As the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall for the oldest trick in the book. How did Eren gain the Warhammer Titan powers? Want to know one of the most brutal and tactically ingenious moments in the story? It was when Eren Yeager acquired the Warhammer Titan. The raid on Liberio proved that Eren could be resourceful in Titan form and that he'd go to any lengths if it meant getting closer to his goals. Lara Tiber had the Warhammer Titan then. You know how this works. The only way for Yeager is to get rid of her first. But she and her Titan weren't pushovers. Versatile combat skills, like the ability to manifest frightfully efficient weapons from hardened Titan material, certainly made quite the case for Lara's Warhammer. Also, the nape of a Titan's neck is usually where all the Titan wielders are after they've transformed, but with this duo, Lara was hidden inside a hardened crystal while staying connected via a cable to the Warhammer Titan's main body. This was a game changer on so many levels. Not only was Lara undefeatable while encased in that impenetrable shell of hers, her Titan was also always around and making things extraordinarily difficult for her opponents. Lara Tiber seems to have taken the phrase, "don't put all your eggs in one basket," quite seriously. Yeager and she soon crossed paths when she initiated a raid on Liberio. The attack Titan brought the offensive to the Warhammer Titan and they tangoed. A monumental clash if ever there was one, their battle still gives us chills. Lara tapped into her ability to forge weapons using her Titan. Meanwhile, our boy Yeager was giving brute strength free rein, but he soon realized that directly overpowering this Titan wasn't going to cut it. Speaking of cutting, he diced the cable linking Lara to her Titan, but even then he couldn't get past her hard shell to, consume her and claim the Warhammer Titan for himself. Now, Yeager did something that none of us saw coming. He used another Titan as a tool. Remember, our guy was fighting more than one of these monstrosities in Liberio. Porco Galliard was out and about. Soon, his and Eren's paths crossed and Porco called upon his terrifying Jaw Titan. The Galliard guy closely resembled Yeager in that he too wanted to protect his home and friends from Titan incursions. Motives and morals aside, Eren had learned by now to think strategically in the heat of battle. Instead of feeling overwhelmed with Porco's entry, he saw it for the opportunity it was, because, surprise, surprise, the jaw on that Titan could crack through the shell around Lara. Even its claws could rip through the toughest materials. Now that seemingly indestructible crystal encasing Lara? It didn't seem like a lost cause anymore. Eren fought the Jaw Titan, restrained it, and literally wielded its jaw like a weapon in his attack Titan hands like some creepy living tool. This move was as savage as it was brilliant. It clearly showed Eren's ruthlessness and ingenuity. Our guy has certainly come a long ways. Lara's crystal shattered and scattered shards in every direction, leaving her vulnerable for what was definitely coming next. Now, Yeager was no pushover either. He knew what he needed to do and what he came to achieve. No change of heart in the wielder of the attack Titan, no sir. He consumed Lara Tiber. The Warhammer Titan now belonged to Eren Yeager. This moment, as grim and visceral as we know it to be, also confirmed Eren's complete transformation into a force that would stop at nothing to reach his goals. If the occasion calls for it, he's certainly going to exploit any advantage, use anyone against another, and get what he wants. With the Warhammer Titan in his collection, Eren could now access unique hardening techniques to make weapons and structures. The series later showcased him using that ability to devastating effect. Before we move to the next topic, let's make one thing clear. A lot of moral complexity was involved in the Liberio battle. Eren showcased tactical brilliance against Lara and her Warhammer Titan, but his deeds also raised questions about whether his actions were justified. Did Eren's decisions hint at his descent into something darker? What happened to the attack Titan during the War for Paradis? Ideals, alliances, and lives went for a toss in the War for Paradis portion of the plot, leading up to a badass finale that made so many of us fall even more in love with the Attack on Titan series. Eren Yeager and his attack Titan, of course, played a super important role in this war. We saw them engage in intense battles and gain crippling injuries, but most importantly, we also saw the Attack Titan tragically die. Let's explore what happened and how. Remember, by this time, Eren Yeager had already crossed all sorts of moral boundaries, for the greater good as he believes it. He even unleashed the rumbling with this in mind. Yeager's pursuit of absolute freedom has routinely put him in direct opposition to almost every other faction in the story. This includes the Marleyan forces, the Allied nations, and even his own former friends. It only makes sense to see his Attack Titan as an avatar of such ambitions. This towering battle beast of a Titan certainly symbolizes the ruthlessness needed to achieve his vision. The War for Paradis showcased this to deadly effect, more so when Yeager called upon the Founding and Warhammer Titan abilities, which he'd previously acquired. So, Eren's Titan slipped into godlike mode and wanted the rumbling to cross the finish line. In this arc of the story, we also saw just how grotesquely altered his Attack Titan had become. The monster's new look was the result of the Founding Titan's influence. No wonder it became a focal point in the War for Paradis. Madonna said it best: "Love is a battlefield." Eren Yeager's decisions created one heck of an emotional free-for-all during the Paradis War. There were some unforgettable confrontations with former friends, namely the combined forces of the Survey Corps and Marley. Mikasa Ackerman, Armin Arlert, and Reiner Braun, the very people who'd once stood alongside Eren, were now against him. Ideological divisions and personal betrayals quickly became important facets. Let's just say there was trouble in Paradis. Be that as it may, Eren's Attack Titan was still a nearly unstoppable force. He harnessed the Warhammer Titan's hardening ability to create structures and weapons to fend off his enemies. By surviving relentless assaults from Titans, humans, and artillery alike, Yeager proved the unmatched resilience of his latest Attack Titan form. Enemy Titans like Reiner's Armored Titan, Annie's Female Titan, and Peak's Cart Titan all went up against his power like a tide against the side of a mountain. The Attack Titan was fierce on so many levels during the War for Paradis, but that didn't make it invincible, mind you. In an interesting turn of fate, Eren's enemies coordinated in their efforts against him. They slowly began to chip away at his defenses, creating physical as well as metaphorical injuries. Though the Attack Titan was getting close to its limits, Eren Yeager himself was far from spent. He was determined to have his way, one way or another. The finale saw some powerful and painful scenes play out. It still gets to us. Here was this super determined guy who'd only ever sought freedom, but it ended with him becoming isolated from those closest to him. Yeager's unashamed willingness to sacrifice everything for liberty culminated in his tragic end. Let's break this down before we break down. Eren faced off against the combined forces of the Survey Corps and Marley, including Armin in colossal Titan form. The Attack Titan experienced some grueling moments. Mikasa ultimately defeated Yeager by entering the Attack Titan's nape and striking the fatal blow which sliced Eren's head from his Titan body. Thus ended the Attack Titan's legacy, wrapping up so many literal and allegorical elements in the Attack on Titan series. The Attack Titan had once stood for freedom and rebellion, but had since become a symbol of sacrifice and recklessness. It reminded people of the disastrous cost of pursuing an idea, regardless of the collateral and consequences. What are the core combat powers of the Attack Titan? From what we know of this beast, they should have just called him the Powerhouse Titan. With its evolved set of abilities, the Attack Titan has proven it can wield power, precision, and adaptability like few others of its kind. As we near the end of this video, it feels like the right time to explore the core combat capabilities of Eren Yeager's Attack Titan. Let's start with strength, basically the elephant in the room where Titans are concerned. We witnessed raw, primal power manifest each time the Attack Titan punched, kicked, or grappled through a fight. Its muscles are also designed for speed and force. That's how it's able to counter enemy assaults and send shockwaves through the ground. This crushing strength also became the deciding factor in the fight against the Armored Titan and Female Titan. Eren Yeager superbly maximizes this potential. Whether it's charging head-on or performing a flurry of strikes, the Attack Titan's physical dominance often gives it the upper hand in close-range combat. Yeager knows a thing or two about martial arts as well. He trained hard enough for it, that's for sure, but few would have predicted that he would apply those lessons while in Attack Titan form. After all, when you have a city-crushing monster to transform into, why would you bother with Kung Fu? But wait, this Titan's hand-to-hand combat has set it apart from the others. It's not always about brute force or special abilities with Yeager. He used his human combat training, from his days as a cadet, to outstanding effect in some of his face-offs. Talk about having a versatile fighting style. It certainly made the Attack Titan much more efficient. Eren Yeager has called upon grappling techniques, joint locks, and calculated strikes when he needed to exploit specific weaknesses in his opponents. Take his fight against the Armored Titan, for instance. Eren realized that the only way to gain the upper hand was to target Reiner's joints if he ever wanted to bypass that armor of his. Speaking of armor, Eren later gained the hardening ability, but it wasn't after his fight with the armored Titan. It was acquired later in the series after Eren drank a vial of hardening fluid during his time in the underground crystal chamber. Using this new skill, he could then create hardened structures or armor from Titan material, taking his offensive and defensive potential to a whole nother level. We saw what the Attack Titan could do with this ability. It reinforced its punches or created sharp weapons that could pierce even the toughest Titan armor. Eren's tussle with the Warhammer Titan proved as much. The increased durability that the hardening ability gave Yeager further helped him keep the nape of his neck safe. Fans of the series know the importance of that only too well. The combat efficiency of the Attack Titan is often influenced by its inheritor's ingenuity. In this case, Eren Yeager. This Titan's an adaptive fighter. Eren has shown how adeptly he can analyze opponents and respond with calculated ferocity instead of blind brutalism. Eren's martial arts, hardening, and physical strength together create a synergy that overwhelms his enemies. Whether it's targeting weaknesses in the armored Titan's joints, using the Colossal Titan's massive size against it, or using the Jaw Titan as a living tool to defeat the Warhammer Titan, Eren has shown time and again how his Attack Titan can be strategically used for optimum impact. Where most Titans falter in prolonged battles, Eren's Attack Titan thrives, thanks in part to Yeager's human determination to win. We never thought we'd call the Attack Titan a sophisticated warrior, but that about sums up what this unique giant really is. Why is the Attack Titan associated with freedom? This Titan's legacy is one of defiance and tragedy, but throughout it all, Eren Yeager and previous inheritors only ever pursued freedom. They even became a symbol of resistance to oppression, but rebelling against unfair systems isn't as easy as people think. Eren fighting against the chains of fate itself ended up seeing him chained by his own fate. Let's stop playing the sad violin for a second and check out what exactly led to Yeager's Attack Titan being associated with freedom. Think Statue of Liberty, but twisted into a kaiju gone mad and bad. With an image like that, we wouldn't blame you for thinking that Titans might even have souls, but inside each of these giants is a person, aka an inheritor, and they share their complexity with the creatures they wield. In the Attack on Titan series, the other behemoths are often seen serving as part of a hierarchy or fulfilling specific roles in society. But the Attack Titan, much like its wielder, Eren Yeager, isn't interested in any of that drama. He's as pro-rebellion and anti-status quo as it gets. His Attack Titan practically rejects serving regimes or answering to authority. While at first this might seem dangerous, Eren's heart is in the right place. He only wants freedom for himself and the people from any and all systems of control. All the Attack Titan inheritors are guided by this fundamental belief that freedom is worth fighting for, regardless of the cost. Adding more evidence to this bucket is the Attack Titan's unique ability to inherit memories from future successors. Insulting traditional ideas of how time even works, this ability has played a powerful role in defining the Attack Titan and all of its inheritors. Even in this, the Attack Titan is a rebel through and through. It defies the rules of time, for crying out loud. Now, if Star Wars taught us anything, it's that where there are rebels, there's a resistance. Eren Krueger, aka the Owl, was the Princess Leia of his generation, meaning he started the resistance and ensured it kept going. His work as an Eldian spy in the Marleyan military nurtured his hunger for freedom and need for a resistance to help establish it. For years, he operated covertly, gathering intelligence and aiding Eldian restorationists, all while safely navigating Marley's oppressive system. Much of the freedom symbolism associated with the Attack Titan came from Krueger, especially its willingness to suffer any personal loss for the sake of liberation. Grisha Yeager then took over the reins and fought for Eldian freedom. He lived up to his dad's last words about the importance of continuing the struggle for freedom even in the face of overwhelming oppression. During Grisha's time with the Attack Titan, we saw just how much complex moral and emotional struggle was tied to this Titan's legacy. Remember, Grisha wasn't born with a silver spoon. His time in Marley exposed him to the cruel treatment of Eldians, making him vow to overthrow the tyrants and restore Eldian dignity. So it came as no surprise that when he acquired the Attack Titan, it became a vessel for his rebellion against the regime. Now, we see something curious play out with Grisha, particularly on Paradise Island. He moved there to build a new life, but in the process ended up continuing his old one. After all, the Attack Titan's ideals of freedom never allowed him to fully escape his life's mission. On Paradise Island, Grisha soon encountered the Royal Reese family and came to blows with their devastating founding Titan, at the time wielded by Frida Reese. He tapped into his son Eren's future and found the motivation he needed to complete the mission. We come now to the final known inheritor of the Attack Titan, Eren Yeager. To him, freedom was more than a mere philosophy. It was a legitimate goal. Throughout his time wielding the Attack Titan, Yeager struggled with what freedom truly meant. Fans got to see this in action, especially during the Rumbling, where Eren often made decisions that cost lives, all in the name of ending oppression. Suffice to say, with Eren Yeager's Attack Titan, the fight for freedom was taken to a controversial level. He justified everything, even destruction and murder, to pursue his ideals. It certainly created a world of ethical complexity. He was, after all, achieving freedom at the expense of others. Now, the Attack Titan's association with freedom isn't just about rebellion, it's also about a refusal to accept one's fate. There's a human desire in all of us to break free, and this Titan embodies that need. In the process, it redefines its own future and rises against systems that seek to control it and others. The Attack Titan proves that freedom, no matter how noble or pure, will not come cheap, nor will it come easy. Marvelous verdict! Resilience and resistance, baby! That's the name of the game where the Attack Titan is concerned. This character, wielded by a handful of multi-generational inheritors, is a major cornerstone in the Attack on Titan manga and anime. Mind-blowing battles, heartbreaking sacrifices, and a poignant reflection on the cost and complexity of liberation all dance a dark waltz around the Attack Titan and its unforgettable role in the series. That's all we got for you this time, but thanks for watching Marvelous Videos. Punch those like and subscribe buttons and stay tuned for more deep dives into your favorite anime and manga characters.